With us in the studio is David Sussman. Headline earnings per share from JD Group down from R6.22 to R3.01. If you look at the bald number terms, 1.1 billion rand down to 511 million. You did telegraph this, though, to the market, David.
Yes, we did. But the results reflect the past, Alec, and we are focused on the future.
Where are we in the credit cycle right now? We're talking about the
Well,
future.
in terms of the JD cycle, there's every indication that we've turned the corner. Over the last 5 months, bad debts have been 15% down on the corresponding period last year. Now, we've been waiting for some consistent behavior in the book before making such a call. Now, I can say with serious confidence that it appears that we have turned the corner.
That's extraordinary. What about the credit crunch internationally? Will that not maybe have a knock-on effect which will turn the cycle back again?
Well, I'm not sure how that affects the middle mass market unless the whole economy goes into a tailspin and you have wholesale retrenchments and so on and so forth. Clearly that impacts on our business. Top-line sales at traditional retail remain challenging, but our budgets have been prepared on a very conservative basis. And in my comments, I mentioned that we would be looking to achieve a very pleasing result in the coming financial year, and we believe it's more than achievable.
Well, you were the first one to call the downturn, so you're the first one to call the upturn.
Yeah, well, I'm when we called the downturn, it was met with that huge skepticism, or in fact, almost hostility. And I'm sure there will be those that are as skeptical about our call right now. I'm not suggesting that we're going into buoyant trading conditions, far from it. But our book says it all. And there's every indication that we've turned the corner.
Just explain, how big is your book?
Our net book exceeds 4 billion rand. We've got over 1.4 million current accounts. We've got 6 million accounts in total. So it's a sizable database.
A very good reflection then what's happening in the real economy in South Africa.
Yeah, that's always been my stance.
One of the deals that got away from you was the merger with Steinhoff. Had that gone ahead, I suppose shareholders would have felt rather differently to the gloom that one sees nowadays.
Well, I have mixed feelings about that, Alec. You know, it was a deal, a once-in-a-lifetime deal that I believed I was presenting to my shareholders. They never agreed. But on the other hand, I would have hated to be sitting on the Steinhoff board right now, having to explain us having gone through such difficult trading conditions. You know, at the time we negotiated that deal, I made it quite clear that the cycle had turned. But nobody could envisage the severity of this downside.
So it's been worse than anticipated?
Oh, much worse. It's the worst cycle that I've endured since I started this business 25 years ago.
So even though it has turned upwards, it's still not exactly good times, as you said earlier.
No, far from it. I think, Alec, our focus now is on our strategy going forward. You know, Grattan Kirk, our new CEO, is well entrenched. The strategy that we embarked upon last year is now in full play and at a pace and gaining momentum. That's going to unlock huge value across the board.
What about this lazy balance sheet argument? It wasn't long ago that asset managers were explaining why JD Group should be taking on debt.
Alec, at this morning's presentation to analysts, one of the analysts came up to me and said, "Geez, Dave, I'm so pleased you never succumbed to the pressure of giving money back to shareholders at that point in time." Well, it just didn't make sense.
And a couple of acquisitions in this period. Blake Contact Centre, you've taken a bigger shareholding in the company that you have with ABSA as well.
We've increased our stake in Blake's to 55%. Blake's, as a contact centre or call centre, is fundamental to our strategy going forward. It's going to assist us enormously from not only a marketing point of view, but also from a collection point of view. And then we have increased our stake in Maravedi, which is a financial services arm. We've appointed an outstanding young guy to head it up. Their job is to develop new financial products that we can market not only to our database, but also to new avenues.
David, your share price has been under an enormous amount of pressure lately. It picked up its head in the past few weeks, but still under 30 Rand a share. With the turnaround that you are projecting, can you see some improvement in that, at that area as well?
Alec, you know, we have never ever made a call on the share price. Our job is to run the business. We make long-term decisions that are for the long-term well-being of the business. Sometimes it means taking 2 steps back in order to achieve 3 or 4 steps forward. We've used this down cycle to restructure the business, to implement this strategy, and I have absolutely no doubt that the bottom line, down the line, will take care of the share price going forward.
David Sussman is the Chief Executive, or rather Executive Chairman of the JD Group.